Hi, I'm Josh, and you're watching The Prolo Patient. Today's video will be about my journey to get diagnosed with CCI. Now, let me tell you, it was a long road, very long road. And that road made me lose all faith in the medical system. I refer to my journey to get diagnosed as a medical circus, being tossed from one doctor to the next. So my journey started with multiple unproductive emergency room visits. They did x-rays, scans, blood work, MRIs. All were inconclusive. They found nothing, and they sent me home. And this went on for about 6 months, just going to the ER every couple weeks, and they would find nothing. Meanwhile, I had all these horrible symptoms, ringing in the ear and vision problems and nausea, and you've seen my videos, on and on with these symptoms. Finally, I made an appointment with an ENT, hoping that at least they would be able to tell me about my ears and why I had ringing in the ears and a choking sensation and all these horrible symptoms I was going through. The ENT told me that there was nothing that they could do about the ringing in the ear other than surgery. They offered to do more MRIs, which I politely declined. At that point, a fifth MRI. This ENT couldn't explain my sinus pain, my eye pressure, my sinus pressure. He couldn't explain anything. So he suggested that I go to a neurologist. The neurologist did additional MRI scans with contrast, which they found a hemangioma. If you don't know what a hemangioma is, I'll put the definition right here. They thought that might be causing all my symptoms, so they sent me to neurosurgery. I went to one of the top neurologists and one of the top neurosurgeons in the state of Florida. After doing 4 more MRIs with and without contrast, the neurosurgeon cleared me and said that this hemangioma wasn't dangerous, it's probably never going to grow, and it's not causing any of your symptoms. So, there I was, after going through 6 months of doctor visits, and I had reached the end of my road. Modern medicine had told me that there is nothing that they can do for me. All the doctors that I saw, including the ENT, the neurologist, and the neurosurgeon, they told me there was nothing they could do, and maybe it was in my head, and maybe I needed to go see a therapist. Which, honestly, that is one of the most devastating moments in my life, that I had been dealing with all these horrible symptoms for a year, and all of these doctors, which your whole life you think, oh, well, if I get sick, a doctor can help me. And now these doctors have no idea what's going on, and they can't help me. So like you've seen in my video about the mission of this channel, which I'll link right here. In that video, I talk about all the research I did and all the videos that I watched that led me to start looking at craniocervical instability, atlantoaxial instability, and ultimately prolotherapy. The next step for me in my journey to get diagnosed was I went to the Hauser Neck Center in Fort Myers, Florida, at Caring Medical. I went through their testing process where they do something called a digital motion x-ray. This digital motion x-ray revealed things that an MRI didn't. It revealed that my neck had extreme or severe hypermobility that was causing all kinds of horrible symptoms. The hypermobility was aggravating my vagus nerve, which was causing the shortness of breath, the vision problems, the heart rate variability issues. In the future, I'm going to do a video talking all about the vagus nerve and understanding the symptoms that come from vagus nerve inflammation. When I make that video, I'll link it down in the description below. At Caring Medical, they did an ultrasound on my jugular veins and my carotid artery, which showed that the hypermobility in my neck was affecting the blood flow to my brain. That's why I was feeling like I was going to pass out all the time. They also did something called a cone beam CT. They do that to check something called your styloids, to see if your styloids are elongated. That may be causing something called Eagles syndrome. If you don't know what that is, I'll put a little definition right here. So the next step was to get prolotherapy. A lot of you may ask why I went from getting prolotherapy with Dr. Sebastian to going to Caring Medical. Dr. Sebastian only does from C2 and below. My digital motion x-ray revealed that my main hypermobility was my C1. So I needed to get injections from my C0 to C1. Also my whole neck, but I needed to get injections from C0 all the way down to C7 because my neck was extremely hypermobile. If you're like me and you feel like you've exhausted all of your resources on finding out why you have all these horrible symptoms, I would strongly encourage you to get a digital motion x-ray wherever you are, or go to Caring Medical. I would highly suggest them. There's nowhere in the world that does what they do there. I do have to say that it is extremely disappointing that all along my journey to get diagnosed, none of these doctors even thought about a structural problem with my neck causing all these symptoms. Had I just encountered one ENT that may have said, you know what, the cause of your sinus pressure and your tinnitus, it may be a structural problem. You may think about getting something called a digital motion x-ray. None of these ENTs even know what a digital motion x-ray is, and definitely don't know what prolotherapy is. Understand that these doctors, they know what they're trained in. They stay in their lane. Anything outside of that, they have no idea. There's a quote by Michael J. Fox that I think is awesome that pertains to this. It says, "The message is so simple, yet it gets forgotten. The people living with the condition are the experts."